All right, let's talk some forearms and hands. So, a lot of people don't actually train your forearms directly, and some people can get away with that. Dorian Yates famously talked about having, whatever, 17-inch forearms and never training them. Uh, there's obviously a genetic component. I have fairly thin wrists as an ectomorph, so my forearms, I generally don't have a lot of muscle mass on them. So, but honestly, I try to train as much of my whole body as possible, at least once a week. Sometimes some things get hit twice because they recover a lot faster. Forearms are something that I do as part of my program that's a little bit unorthodox, as well as neck. Uh, as a jiu-jitsu athlete, we are gripping a lot, so very tough on the fingers, and also we are in flexion quite a bit this way. So, if anything, for grapplers, training the extension and the brachial, I think it's called right here, as well as the hands, the fingers going out. So the muscles that are back here, the extensors. So to offset that, for grapplers, there are you don't need any equipment, but there are things that you can use. So there's this little attachment here. It's like an elastic thing that you put over your fingers. I put this on my spin bike in the living room. So when I'm doing my 10-minute post-meal cardio, I'm doing these. Again, it works the opposite muscles to what we're always doing when we're gripping. The other one that I would use a dumbbell for is, again, the wrist. I'll lean my wrist over my knee and then curl back this way. Now you're going to have a tendency to roll your index finger like this, because this is a lot stronger than the outside. So you're always trying to keep it as straight as you can. So we're looking at doing this way. You don't need a very heavy weight for this at all, especially when you're doing it slow and squeezing. The proper cadence and control. So that's another one. But even though I still get a lot of flexion and grip, I'm still going to train that too. Just again to train as much of my whole body as possible. So my routine, I do two different ones. So you're looking at curling in this way, and also this way. Again, try to keep your hand as straight as possible. Don't let it turn like this too much, because you're trying to hit out here. As well, I will work the grip. So this is it's called Ivanka gripper. If you don't have one of these, you can grab any type of object and just squeeze against it isometrically. As long as it's a grip and you're squeezing it, you're working the same muscles. But I like this a lot. I put it to its hardest setting and do it as slow as I possibly can with a nice squeeze at the end, and it's a great forearm workout. It's hard to take your forearms to failure, so that's why I will do forearms twice a week. I'll do one session of the extension, flexion, and I'll also do the grip, and I'll use this for fingers. So this little gripper here is for, you put your fingertips in and you're doing this. So it's just working grip just from different angles. And then again, the finger, where's there? Here we go, boom. Now I do this one quite a bit because again I'm offsetting all the gripping I'm doing in jiu-jitsu. I'll do that a lot. Again, I use it on my spin bike in the living room when I'm doing my post-meal cardio. The other thing that I like to use is these fat grips. I'll put these on weights sometimes when I'm doing hammer curls. So usually once a week I'll hit so neck, forearms, biceps, and you could throw in like calves too. Those are either like neck I don't take to failure, close, but not all the way to failure. And biceps recover super fast. Your forearms are hard to take to failure. And calves are, they recover super, super fast just from, I think probably from they're built for endurance of us walking on them all day. So they recover very, very quickly. So I'll typically do those a couple times a week. I'll hit those muscles. Everything else just once a week. Like for instance, chest. I'm sore in my front delts and chest for a couple days to the touch, even 2 or 3 days after. And that's just doing 3 or 4 exercises to failure. So my chest takes a while to recover. So you don't want to work it out if it's not recovered yet. You're just doing yourself a disservice. So, but other stuff that you could recover quicker, that can maybe be done, more often with a little less recovery. So, anyways, the other tool that I like a lot is this bucket filled with rice. And what you're doing effectively is you're squeezing the rice, you are stabbing your hands in and going out for the extensor muscles. You're grabbing the rice and twisting like this, going the other way, doing this inside of it. There's all types of routines on YouTube. The one that I do I do a minute for each exercise, takes about 6 to 8 minutes. I typically do it at the tail end of my leg day is when I do that. Or if I'll do it on a separate day where I'm doing something else. But I'll typically do the rice bucket one day and then all these other tools another day. That's my 2 a week. And again, I'm kind of fighting genetics to have stronger grip, stronger forearm. I do have a pretty decent grip for my body weight, but I do work on it quite a bit. Again, because I'm fighting off those. Everybody has certain genetic components that are pros and cons. My body type is naturally very flexible, naturally have good endurance, but naturally not that strong. So I work on my especially explosive strength. So I'm working on my strength all the time. Isometric squeezing strength is pretty good. But again, I'm always working on strength because it's not necessarily a strong point for me naturally. People who are endomorphs, shorter, stockier, thicker boned, they're going to be naturally very strong, but not naturally with the best endurance, not naturally with the best flexibility. So that might be things that they're working on more so. I still work on my strengths, but I'm always working on my weaknesses even more so, just to kind of try to balance things out. So forearms, flexion, extension, okay? You can even go this way with the fat grips, okay? Doing curls, okay? Really, really good for your forearms here. Grip, and also the finger grip, and then finger extensors out. And then the rice bucket is awesome it's just a tool, right? It's not about the tools necessarily. Like, yes, I have things that I had to, I think that all these cost me, like, I think it was $40 or something for that whole kit. You don't need any equipment though. It's the intensity that you use. It's not the tool, it's the intensity. So even if you only have some weights and all you can do is these, and you get an elastic band, a strong elastic band for the extensors. Your grip strength, grab anything and squeeze isometrically. All those give you a great workout. You don't need any type of equipment. They're just tools. They can be, obviously they're good. Like, I like machines. I don't use any personally right now because I don't go to a conventional gym. But machines are great. Like, they isolate the muscle that you're going for. You don't have to steady yourself. They're amazing tools. Free weights also obviously are a great tool and so on, but they cost money. If you don't have the money for equipment, you don't want to go to a gym, just get a backpack and fill it with some stuff. Like you don't really need to have all this stuff. Although I have a bunch of equipment I've acquired over years of training, it's not something that's necessary. I don't like the excuse of people saying that they don't have the time or they don't have the equipment or whatever. Like, you don't need that. You can do a couple small workouts per week and that are very intense and hit the right areas and with little to no equipment, and you can be in quite good shape that way. So I'm not a huge fan of the excuses of equipment or lack of equipment or time. Anyways, forearms, work them. If you're a grappler and you have a pretty good grip either way, you don't need to work on necessarily this grip or this because we're doing it a lot. We're always squeezing, we're always gripping. Work your extensors in your fingers and work the extension of your wrist here. Work the opposite muscles of what you're using all the time because we do get some overuse of this way. But feel free to work your entire forearm and hands. Why not? Rice bucket. I think the 30-pound bag of rice was $20 and the bucket was $6. So, $30 and gives you a good tool that you can have forever. I do notice a similar feeling in my forearms with the rice bucket as I do the other tools. However, the biggest difference I notice is in my hands, the back of my hands. I don't know if that's doing this or the way that you're gripping into the rice or whatever, but the back of my hands, I almost feel like a pump in the back of my hands, which is pretty cool. So again, I like to hit that at least once a week, but 2 overall sessions for the forearms a week is more than enough. So, and remember, you're always hitting it indirectly. You're hitting a lot of your forearms, especially in the insides, especially the flexion. You're hitting that a lot when you're doing any kind of pulling movements or curls. You're hitting it indirectly. So it's not something you need to do. Nobody really, you are hitting it indirectly with other exercises, but if you want to get it more precisely and focus on those areas, again, I try to break my body down into the littlest parts and hit everything as much as I possibly can within a given week. Sometimes I have a very, very busy schedule for other things, so I can't hit everything the way I want to. I can't do my full 3 workouts, so I'll only do 1 or 2, and then I hit as important exercises as I can within that. And anyways, that's about it. Okay, hit your forearms.